before we get started, I wanted to kind of introduce you with one of my favorite commercials that came out in 2010. See if you guys recognize it at all.
Such feelings coming over me. There's wonder in most everything I see. Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream. I'm on top of the world. This is the end. Beautiful friend. This is the end. My only friend. The end of our elaborate plans.
Alright. Commercial gets me every time. So that commercial is one of the many, we'll get into some of the specific types here in just a second, but that's just kind of an intro to commercials in America anyways. Now, when I was younger, I played soccer all the time, and I loved the sport. It was my passion. And I was about, I'll say, 8 or 9 years old, and I saw a commercial on TV with Mia Hamm, who was a great soccer player for the Women's USA national team. And she had this commercial where she was running down the field and talking about how everyone needs to have ice in their veins when that moment comes, when you're trying to score a game-winning goal or going up against your competition and it's getting into crunch time. And then she took a sip of Gatorade and said, "Gatorade ice, is it in you?" And I saw that commercial as I was younger, and I just thought that I had to have Gatorade, and I went and pestered my parents, and I always wanted to have it during game day because I thought if I had Gatorade in me, I could be fierce and have ice in my veins like Mia Hamm did. So there's a lot of advertisement techniques that try and get to consumers of all ages who watch television. And so that's one that personally got to me. So we have to be aware of these things. Now, what I have here is 10 major types of advertisement appeals. And the first one is bandwagon appeal. Tries to convince consumers that everyone else wants a product and they should too. So, in other words, there's something going on like, if we're taking Gatorade, for example, everyone has Gatorade who's on the sports team, so you should too. Just one of those things, kind of like it's experienced in school sometimes. All your buddies saying, "Hey, we all are going after school to go play soccer. You should join us too." Like, you kind of feel that pressure there. Second one, brand loyalty appeal. Tell consumers that a brand is better than the rest. Now, you'll have these people come out like there's Gatorade and there's Powerade and there's vitamin water, there's all these different things. But they're going to sit there and say, on some advertisements, Gatorade's way better than Powerade, or Life Water, or Great Value. So that's that one. Second one, false image appeal, or third one, false image appeal. Convinces consumers that people who use a product give off a certain image. So, for example, in this one, we have a beautiful girl there. Some people say, "Oh, you use our proactive solution to wash your face. You'll look beautiful just like this." And those aren't necessarily all true because, you can wash your face with that, and it depends on a lot of things. There's severity of how bad your acne is, or there's maybe it just doesn't work for you. It's not guaranteed, but they're going to try and get you to feel like it's guaranteed, so you'll buy it. Glitter and generality appeal. Greatly exaggerates the benefits of a product. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard, they have some of those recovery drinks, and certain like pills out there and all these things that will say, oh, if you take these, you'll get stronger and you'll get buff like these guys, like huge muscles everywhere, you know, lifting, you're like 120 curls for the girls, this is my gym coach used to tell me. And you get those in there, and they tell you that you'll get those muscles, you'll be able to lift that. And that, I mean, you might get an increase, but you're not going to get like that huge of one, but they're going to try and sell you at that point, because you see that and you're like, oh, I can have that. Next one, humor appeal. Uses a slogan, jingle, or cartoon to keep consumers' attention. Kind of like that one I showed you to start. They said, no, it's cheese, keeps you incredibly strong. You know, like the mouse was able to push the mouse trap off his chest, even though most mice would have died probably from that. But he had no cheese, so he was strong enough to push that off. And it's just something that kind of gets in your head, and you're like, oh, like, you're walking down, it's kind of in the back of your head, and you're like, oh, no, it's cheese. Like, maybe I'll buy this product instead of Kraft cheese, you know. That's what they try and get you at that one. Progress appeal. Tells consumers that a product is new and improved compared to the old version, or compared to other versions. So like in this one I have an example of a cell phone compared to, like, I don't know if you guys remember these things. There used to be these things, phones, and they all had wires, they were all wired. There was no wireless phones. You had to take this little like dial and roll it around and stuff. It was not fun. But nowadays you'll have like cell phones, and smartphones are so much better than like your simple flip phone. They're just going to try and do whatever they can to say, this one's better, it has all these different gadgets and apps and stuff. So this is why you should buy our product. Next one, reward appeal. Tells consumers that they'll get a prize or gift if they buy the product. Now sometimes they'll say, hey, if you buy over $100 of our product of, let's say, Girl Scout cookies, we'll throw in a free gift card to Walmart. Or they'll say, we'll throw in a free extra 2 boxes of cookies. They'll try and get you to go in and buy their product based off of some other gift or monetary value to get you to go over the hump and buy that instead of sitting there on the edge. Scientific evidence appeal. Gives consumers evidence of a survey or test that proves whether the product is effective or reliable. Which, the problem with these is they all sound great in theory. You get this thing that says 3 out of 5 doctors or 9 out of 10 dentists approve or would pick Crest over Colgate. Well, that's cool and everything, but what if 9 of those 10 dentists all worked for Crest, you know? Or what if they were, you know, like, it could be people who all personally use Crest and they just prefer it, you know, like, it could be skewed. Or maybe if it's a survey, they ask, like, or if it's a test, the test questions could be, they could get to pick the test, so you never know. Like, they're not very reliable tests, so you can't just because something says, oh, this works 9 times out of 10, well, maybe they had 100 results and 9 of them worked and they took 10, 1 that didn't work and 9 that did work and said, 90% of the time this product works. And you're like, oh, that sounds pretty good, but it's kind of a scam in a way. You have to be really careful on those things. Snob appeal. Tells consumers that they are worthy of the best products or services. For example, they'll sit there and say, hey, I know you're a 6th grader in your class and you play for YSA soccer leagues, just a little fun rec league, but you need the Pumas VO2 Max or VO2s, which are only like $3 grand, or they weigh the least amount of any other soccer spike out there right now. Now you probably don't need that because you're in a younger league, you're just getting started. But they're going to tell you, if you have these, you can make the step to the next level. And that's what they'll try and get out on that appeal. And the last one is the testimony appeal. Use a well-known personality to say that a product or service is the best. Much like my Mia Hamm example. They're going to have some star that you guys know, like whether it's Derek Jeter or LeBron James or Mia Hamm. You know, they're going to take someone you know, and that person's going to come and say, oh, hey, like, take this product. This is what I use, and look how great I am. They'll do things like that. And as a younger person, or if someone, one of those people are an idol you look up to, that'll help sometimes get you to buy something just because of simply the personality behind that. Now, what I want to do here for you is I want to ask if any of you, I kind of gave it away, but can any of you tell me which one of the commercials I explained with me, or which type of advertisement appeal the Mia Hamm commercial was?